And good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. We call that proof of life. Thank you for calling. I hate to disappoint all the folks that are in the sections that I teach. No, I'm not an online deepfake avatar. I actually exist. I'm here, and I'm so privileged to be here and to be with you today. We're going to do a few things. One of them is, my section, and by the way, welcome to everyone else. And we're so glad that you chose to be here today. As we see, some folks didn't choose wisely. But nonetheless, you'll have to make do, right? Your job will be to brief them and extract whatever degree of payment you think is necessary to make up for their absences here in your group as you do your project work. Many of you in the section, the sections that I work with and teach, we've talked about where I live. And I'm always jealous of, as we would say back there, y'all, I'm just jealous of y'all here. You know, the sun shines every day. It's beautiful. We're out in the tank tops and the skateboards. And, you know, we can't get out of the mud where I'm at. But I did want to tell you that there are some, in fact, beautiful places where I live. This is about 15 miles from my home. It's one of the little places where we like to hang out. I live in the middle of the Shawnee National Forest. Literally, you know, a small community at a crossroads, as I told my group. We don't have a single mechanical traffic light. And what I mean like is red, yellow, green in the entire county. Yes, that's rural. Also happens to be the home, if you will, of three of the 5 poorest counties in the state of Illinois. Almost everyone, when we talk about Illinois, they think, oh, Chicago. No, about as far away from Chicago as you can get. We're all the way down the bottom end of the state. But we have a natural beauty that is hard to compare with in certain places, and you should see this in the fall. Would encourage any of you to come and come see us in October. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Weather's usually moderate, crisp in the morning, warm in the afternoon, and all the beautiful foliage. And that message brought to you today by Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much. We're glad to be here. Today we want to talk about working with folks with low literacy and low resource situations and conditions. One of the things that I want to bring home to you today here, while we're here, is again, we've been talking very much about projects and programs, and our focus has been, of course, in the U.S., but it's also been global. We've been looking at people in Tanzania, Mexico, India, Malaysia, Vietnam, any number of places where you might find those needs that you want to work on and address. Today we're going to take a little introspective look into something maybe a little closer to home, something more familiar to us in relationship to what's going on. And so the question I would ask you right now, just right off the bat, I'm sorry to get you right there. The question I would ask you here is, how do you define poverty? And I ask you to look at these two pictures that we have here, these two women, if you will. The young lady on the right, on the left, her name is Maria, and the woman here in the center in the kind of peach and cream with the bananas and with all the peanuts and groundnuts and everything for sale. Notice kind of the condition that they're in and what have you. And I would ask you, just by evaluating the pictures, who might you say is in poverty? Okay. That would be one definition. So which one of those is this? Of these two people, of this young lady right here and this young lady right here, who's in poverty? Very well could be, couldn't they? Very well could be. Why? Well, let's take a look at the next slide. I told you broke that.
It worked.
Oh, it does? Okay, but from 3 feet away. All right. All right. So echoing on what Professor Madhu has just said, just told you about this idea of being perhaps financially poor but socially rich and those contexts that work here. The working definition is poverty to the extent of which individuals do without resources. Now notice those resources can be varied. They can be spiritual resources. They can be financial. They can be support systems, emotional resources. All of these things can be co-contributors to the idea of being in poverty. And life has very, very little certainty to it. As Professor Madhu asked, why plan? Why should I plan about what I'm doing tomorrow? Because I'm clueless about what's going to happen tomorrow. And there's very little margin for error. As we've talked about extensively, and I know you have in your groups as well, many of the people that you're going to be working with, your projects are designed to incorporate as customers, as beneficiaries. Those are folks who work daily for wages. And if they work today, they eat today. If they work today, the family has money today. If something happens, a natural disaster, a calamity, I'm sick, any number of things, a child is sick and I can't go to work because I have to stay home, guess what? I may not eat tomorrow. Why? I have very little margin of error. I don't have enough income to be able to save income or to provide a buffer for myself. Another thing to realize too is that, as we have said before, again, I'm echoing much of this that our sections have heard, but most of the people that we're going to be interacting and dealing with live right at the edge of the environment. For us here, you know, if it's not bright enough in here, we turn on more lights. If it's too warm, we'll turn the thermostat down a little bit. You know, we'll adjust it, and we'll get the humidity right, and lighting level will be great. The people you're going to be working with literally live in the environment. They have very little protection, very little differentiation between themselves and the effort that the environment brings upon them. So if it's cold outside, I'm going to be cold today. If it's wet outside, I might as well get ready. I'm going to be drenched. Very little margin around them to provision for them the things that we all take for granted. So with that in mind, that precludes us to be able to have a different point of view, a different approach when we look at these people that we're trying to create a for-profit, let me remind you, a for-profit business for. We are not a social enterprise. We are not a nonprofit. We're going to create a working business model that's going to go here.